All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Women's MTB Network podcast. Today we've got Candace joining us as well for our special guest, Heather. And Candace, I think this is your first podcast second podcast you've done with me, right?
Yes.
Sweet.
Second one.
Well, we're going to grill Heather in a minute. We're going to have Heather on the podcast. And to tell you all a little bit about Heather, she's the founder of the Rooted MTB Fest. This is a festival that happens over on the East Coast. I'm not going to give too much away because, to my knowledge, it's the only festival that happens on the East Coast. And it's really freaking magical what she's doing right now. And I want to bring her on to tell us more about it. And Candace, you've met Heather before. You've ridden with her, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got to ride at Howler, actually the only bike park that I've been to. I got to meet with her there and take a spin, but I met her through Jess, so.
Oh, nice. Jess is like the hub of everyone that we meet. I met you through Jess. Like, I meet everyone through Jess.
She's well connected.
She really is. She's so amazing. All right. So, y'all, without further ado, let's bring Heather on right now. Hi, Heather. How are you?
Hey, guys. I'm doing great.
Okay, so I want to, first of all, I didn't want to pronounce your last name because I have a pet peeve when people pronounce my last name wrong. Is it Kinal or Kinal? How do you pronounce your last name?
You got it. It's Kinal.
All right, Heather Kinal, everyone. We have Heather Kinal in the house. Heather, we tried connecting a few times and our schedules are just so hectic. Thank you for making the time today because you're on East Coast time, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'm in Western.
That's right. Western New York. How is the weather over there right now?
Well, it's finally sunny. It snowed a little bit over the weekend. It's going to be in the tomorrow night. I'm usually in Bentonville this time of year. Am I right? I biked with Candace in the spring, and last year she cut my hair. It was fantastic.
I know.
Candace is awesome.
I was doing a blowout, and she was like, "Don't even bother." I'm putting a helmet on. I'm like, "Oh, this is my favorite part."
I just looked fabulous anyway.
Wait, are you coming to Bentonville for the Bike Fest?
Is that in September or a different time?
It's at the end of May.
Oh, okay. Probably not. I recently moved into my new house, and I'm actually planting things and turning it into a nice place. So
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Heather. Where are you from? What do you do? What's your business? What's your passion? So folks can get to know you a little bit better.
Sure. Well, we'll start with the biking side of things.
Yeah.
Well, I started biking in 2017.
Okay.
Early. My husband had tried getting me to bike throughout the years, but I have an autoimmune disease and I didn't know it at the time, and so my body just didn't like activity. So finally, I got healed up and fell in love with it, and then I fell really hard in love with it once I started riding with other women.
Yes.
I was like, this is so much fun. And then I ended up having a fat bike and a regular bike. And I would just put friends on my cool bike and I would ride the fat bike and they would fall in love and buy a bike. And then I would keep getting more people into it. So my little group grew fast and it was amazing.
So you're responsible for the growth of women's mountain biking up there. That's freaking
I know.
Awesome.
I was like, what?
I'm just going to put that. Yeah, for real. For real.
She's like, oh, you don't have a bike? Just get on this one bike. And then we're going to go for a ride.
Yes.
Trust me, you're going to love it. Just trust me, you're going to love it.
Yes.
There is something to be said about that. They're riding with women is just such an empowering thing, I think. I love that. Riding with Candace, and we got to ride together for the first time in Sedona last month. And homegirl saw me fall a couple times. So that was fun.
It's bonding.
It's the right people to fall in front of, though, right? Your friends, just leave that ego behind and, it's whatever. We all do
Heather,
it.
for sure. Are you originally from the East Coast?
I am. Yep. I've pretty much lived in the same county most of my life. I moved to Pennsylvania for a little while. I went to school for a little while. But yeah, definitely an East Coaster.
Oh, nice. Do you get to ride out here often in the West Coast part of things where I'm at?
Are you in California?
Yeah.
I have not ridden in California yet.
Oh.
I'm on a mission to ride in all 50 states, but I'm at I think 28 right now. So I'll be there. It'll happen.
Yeah,
I haven't ridden in California either. Yeah. Yo, man, you should. Yeah, I've not ridden in California.
Oh, dang. Although I think the event we have is at the same time as yours. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about your event, which is the Rooted MTB Fest. Can you tell us what made you like what inspired you to come up with that festival?
Well, I mean, in part it came from what I was doing, like getting more women on bikes, just using my own bike. So I was just trying to like build off of that,
Yeah.
and um, and like learning together was great because like someone would watch a video and then we'd go like practice like picking our wheel up over a stick for like an hour. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so we're like, this could be a lot more fun with like more people, or like let's just try this. Um, the reason why I started it though was because I couldn't find one anywhere nearby. I found
Mm,
both Gritfest and Rome were West Coast ish, at least for us, you know, middle of the country.
yeah.
Um, and so like I knew that I could probably take time off. I could probably afford to like go travel and everything, but not everybody can. So it was nice to be able to like offer that to like people around here for a very affordable price. So
Yeah.
kind of all of that stuff combined led to it.
That's
Yeah. And
absolutely amazing.
what are the ticket prices? Like, how much would it cost to attend Rooted?
Yeah. So Rooted is $85 for the weekend, and you get camping, and you get in some cases it's like food, and we do offer like some free clinics, and we offer just like a lot of things. It's like a lot for $85. It's really
No joke.
yeah.
Like,
And then
Yeah, I was just gonna say, sorry, go ahead.
well, this year we also added a yoga pass for $15, and you get at least 3 yoga. It's like one a day, and maybe an additional fourth one. But
That is so cool. So not only do you get to ride with ladies, you get accommodation, which is your camping.
mm-hmm,
You have skills clinics.
mm-hmm,
You've got yoga
mm-hmm.
for 80 bucks. What?
Yeah.
Why
So
aren't we going to
I know
this?
be there. um, yeah. So I mean, one reason why I can do that is because I have a really good relationship with the bike shop, and the bike shop has trails there, and so they've got the field that we all camp in. So it's just this really great like relationship building thing that just has turned into this. And then
Yeah.
after on year 3, I had women come up to me and say like, I want to help you. And so at year 3 is when I had a team helping me, and then that just was amazing. So you know we've got hundreds of hours, you know, of volunteer hours from my team. So that's how we can keep it down. You know what I mean?
That's
yeah.
amazing. Um, what year are you in now? Year
This will
5?
be yep, year 5.
Okay.
So cool. Candace, we got to make it to this thing next year for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
I know. I would love to go. But that means, wait, so if you started biking in 2017, so you biked for 1 year and then you're like, I'm doing a women's mountain biking festival?
No, it started in 2020. That was
Okay. I was like,
year,
wait. Okay.
year 1, 2020.
Okay.
Still for COVID though. Dang, you started this
Yeah.
right during COVID. How did that go?
It's so ridiculous because the inspiration came to me in February of 2020, and I was
Oh,
Yeah.
getting it all together, like putting all the notes, making all these connections, and then I was like, oh, it was supposed to be in May. It was going to just be this thing that we knocked out in a
Yeah.
couple. And so then May got postponed to like June and then July, and we did end up doing it. I think in August. There was like 20 people. It was a free event. We all just like stood a little bit apart outside and like
Yep.
did the group ride. We did some clinics, and I don't know. So we made it work, but it was tiny, and it was a good thing because I learned so much, you know.
Right.
yeah. Sometimes that's the best way to learn something. We did a group ride in Sedona and we had what 50 people show up to one and 30 to the other.
Yes.
And that was a learning experience for Candace and
Yes.
I as well.
I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So safety in numbers. How are we going to do this? Like,
Yeah,
Keeping it alive.
exactly.
yeah. Like, how do we keep everybody safe? It was great though. Like, I think you show up to Sedona, most people know how to ride. Like, they're not beginner riders for the most part. So, and I think, we kept it so casual that, it's not like you had to worry about people, really putting themselves in dangerous trail spots. So it was great.
Yeah, yeah. So whereabouts in the East Coast exactly does
Mhm.
Rooted take place?
So we're about like an hour, hour and a half south of Buffalo, New York. So nearly Canada.
And where do you get people showing up from? Do you get people from all over the country or mainly like East Coast locals?
I mean, I would say it's mainly East Coast. Like right now, I think this year we've got people coming from like 8 or 9 states. But we've had people coming from like, we've had people from Oregon, Washington,
What?
We've got people from Texas, and yeah, so it's really cool.
That's insane. I didn't even know there was mountain biking, like, right there in Buffalo, New York. What about I don't know about you, Candace, but I never knew that existed. It's so cool.
No, but also once I realized that there was biking in Louisiana, I'm like, well, I was probably biking everywhere. I shouldn't be surprised anymore. The fact that there's mountain biking trails in like flat Louisiana, I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I can't be shocked anymore.
Heather, is there something you guys added this year to the fest that you didn't have the year before?
Well, I would say that every year is different because
Mhm.
I like to say that we're co-creating. So it's like even depending on who shows up and buys tickets, like they bring something to the festival.
Yeah.
But one thing that we are doing this year, I mean, I don't have any part in it. It's just like kind of like I'm offering up the space for people, and they're going to be doing some safety training to actually, I think people can actually become certified. I think to be a bike safety patroller. Um,
What?
so they'll go online and do like the online portion, and then they will finish the in person at Rooted. So
Nice.
that's pretty cool. But I don't know that
Yeah,
much.
right. So are you talking kind of like EMT, like bike people kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah, because
Oh, snap.
we've been so fortunate that there's a local ski patrol that also has a bike patrol, and they show up mostly with women bike patrollers. So we love that. Um, and so yeah,
That's
so this is just
awesome.
like the next kind of phase of that.
Yeah. We
That
actually
is super
have
cool.
EMTs on bikes as well out here, and they'll just patrol the bike areas. But I didn't realize that that was just kind of, well, I don't want to say common because I don't think it is common, but I'm learning more about that too. Like we actually have a friend that's a firefighter, and he just got, I don't put in that position to go and basically ride trails, and they carry their EMT bags and they're out there on call just in case.
Yeah,
So it's pretty
yeah,
crazy.
it's a wonderful thing to have. We're just so fortunate that they will volunteer their time to come.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I was thinking about that too, like in Sedona, like God forbid you need to be rescued way out there in the desert. I'm like, how would they actually like are they sending helicopters? Like I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. And that's such a good skill to have. Not a lot of people think about it, but just like that, I've never heard of that before. I didn't know that existed either till just now. And then Candace saying in Bentonville, it's a big thing too. That's
Yeah.
insane.
So that was
Maybe we
so
should.
that's something that we've offered in the past was like, they would tackle trail side, like the common injuries and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so people would go there, would learn how to do like a shoulder or, like stabilizing something that's out of place or,
Yeah.
like how to deal with a laceration and things like that.
Yeah.
That's so important, especially the amount of crazy injuries we see in mountain biking that are quote unquote common
Yeah.
that you would need help in like just like you said, stabilizing a shoulder. I wouldn't know how the heck to even start to do that. Like what the hell?
Yeah. I think you start by panicking and then freaking out. It's basically what I do on call, on
No,
site.
you don't.
Just
You don't.
panic.
You no, you know what? I took a spill right in front of Candace when we were riding last month, and she took it in stride, man. Like she had her first aid kit with her, like, and then I come to find out she hates blood, and here I am putting like my bloody arm in her face.
Yeah.
You
I
do
was just
not
like,
panic.
put the
I,
band-aid on there.
I feel like it's a little bit easier when it's someone else than me. Cause like I've definitely gotten like a pedal bite and I had a friend basically like she took my pants off and like doctored me and everything. And like, I never looked. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Dude,
that's
I got
probably
knocked
true.
on my pedal really bad the other day too, and I hadn't had one of those in so long, and I have new pedals on, and it's like, it just, the peg went right down the shin. So I was like, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
So gross, you poor
So make
thing.
car.
Oh, we have not the
But Rooted
gnarliest
just
scars as mountain
became a
bikers.
nonprofit, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, let's talk about
So,
that. That's
yeah,
amazing.
because I read that on the website this morning. So, but is that new
Yep.
or have you had
Yeah.
that? Okay.
We just got it in February. So we worked at it for like over
Nice.
a year. It was ridiculous, but it's all good and done now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of our mission is to get more women on bikes by getting more girls on bikes. And so we would like to do like a mini rooted that we can start doing for girls like 8 to 16. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
And then so we're also thinking about doing, you know, maybe like doing some Girl Scout troop kind of offerings, and you know, things that we can help get girls feeling empowered in the woods on a, and you know, on bike. So I think that'd be really cool.
That is so amazing. And I think marrying that with Girl Scouts and the EMT as well, like aspect of it would be so freaking cool. There is we had Shelly from Fire Group. I don't know if you've heard of the Fire team. They're an East Coast based enduro racing team for young girls.
Okay.
And Shelly created them because it didn't exist for her 13-year-old daughter to compete in. And that's what just totally reminded me of that, is the fact that you creating that for young girls. I want to connect you with her at some point and see if they'd be interested in participating in that as well,
Dude.
because that would be so freaking cool.
Yeah. Talk about like a power couple right there.
Yeah,
All that
right?
together.
Getting
And just,
shit
like-
done.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, that's cool about the nonprofit aspect of it, because I think it'll help you do a lot of what you've been wanting to accomplish with your mission, right? To getting more women and girls on bikes. That is so cool. I'm seeing on your website too that you guys do offer BIPOC tickets for the fest.
Yes. Yep.
Are they still available or are they sold out?
There are still some available.
Okay, sweet. I know that's something people always ask us about. It's like they need help with some BIPOC tickets. We're gonna blast that when we put this podcast up.
Yeah.
One thing
what
I
about
wanted
the
to ask you.
scholarships though? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah.
You took the question right out of my mouth, Candace. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, like the scholarships can be so tricky, but I do love when, you know, like nonprofits did approve to offer that to people. So like what I guess which area did y'all decide to go in for scholarships?
Yeah. So for scholarships, we want to, you know, bring the diversity to the trails. So we didn't specify who could have the scholarships. You know what I mean? We definitely encouraged BIPOC and LGBTQ folks to apply. And then, so we got our 3 chosen. And I don't know, this was our first year having a DEI team. So that is also something new, because we just want to do better at it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, so like that's definitely a spot that we're learning and growing through right now.
Yeah. I definitely think last year when I was like dealing with scholarships for like Sunset Summit, that was something that they had, you know, decided to kind of tiptoe into, but they wanted to offer scholarships for like adaptive riders.
Mhm.
And it was tricky because adaptive riders have like other festivals that will also accommodate like their stay and their flights and so forth. So there was just realms of that scholarship stuff that we just were like so unaware about. It's just so bizarre, like all the different levels of things that people like look for through scholarships or even approve. And but I mean that was pretty awesome because we had an adaptive coach lined up and everything, which I was like didn't even know that was available, an adaptive riding coach. So that was pretty cool.
Is that something out there that you can do for adaptive riders for Rooted? Are there trails catered to for that?
Yeah, so we had our first adaptive rider come last year. And
Nice.
she was on scholarship. It was so much fun. She was just a riot to like ride with. She was such a brave soul. Like she was just like, we have a truck on the Loud trails. Loud is the bike shop. And she was just like hauling ass over that thing. And like that was when I didn't even realize, like I learned so much even about adaptive and the bikes and all that when she was there. That she didn't even have full suspension, and she's like, just
oh wow, yeah.
You know,
What?
So yeah, and so like I mean, she's still on a mission to get a full suspension bike,
Yes.
but it's so expensive. Like it's so cost prohibitive to be an AMTB.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Those bikes are upwards of 20 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we think
kinda
our sport
wild.
is expensive.
Right. But yeah, so she kind of like tested all the trails out, and we found only, you know, I think there were a couple of bridges that were too skinny. And there was one, I think it was like the longest bridge on the trails, and she just like screw it and went off road and just like went through like the ditch and stuff. And it was like she took care of herself. And so yeah, we definitely still have more work to do. And like maybe that's another thing that Rooted can provide for our community is to actually like bring some funds in for making the trails a little more accessible as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, 100%. I think that needs to be done wide, really, for that. I think it's great you guys offer that. I'm looking at your schedule here. Dude, you guys have like 4 days almost of stuff that you're doing. You
Yeah,
guys are providing mechanics,
yeah.
clinics, group rides, yoga, self-defense clinic. What? That's
Yeah,
pretty bomb.
I saw that.
Sorry. Um, so Susie is the instructor for that, and she came to Rooted, I think it would be 2 years ago now, and she was like so fully empowered that she went and started her own self-defense nonprofit, and like then she came to Rooted and taught. You know, it was like a so full circle cool moment.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because wait, does she incorporate self-defense against animals as well as humans? I mean, animals are humans, but you know what I mean, like actual wild animals, because that's a thing here.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, we don't have that much of that going on out here, so
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know if she
Yeah.
meant it or not, because like I'm usually too like busy running around doing like event director stuff that I don't get to participate in everything. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. But here we have to watch out for bears and mountain lions and all kinds of crazy stuff.
yeah,
I don't know. Do you guys get alligators in Louisiana, Candace? When you went down to Boca Chica, did you see like those crazy animals
No.
down there?
No, I
Oh.
mean there's definitely alligators, but there's not where the swamps would be and where the alligators are. That's not where they are. This would be a little bit more foresty for that. So yeah, I
Okay,
wouldn't be.
all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Concerned
think of the
maybe about
South.
raccoons and possums, but that's about it.
yeah, they
I
And a
definitely.
think of the
nutria
South.
rat, if anybody knows what a nutria rat is.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I went to New
You'd
Orleans.
probably see those. Mia, just Google it. I can't even. It is a very large rodent with orange teeth.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google this after this podcast. And
Just
I
Google
thought we
it.
had weird creatures in Australia. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. Sorry, Heather, but that's really cool. What do you attend? Because you just said you're so busy, right? When you're doing the fest, you're doing so many different things. Is there a specific ride or like a clinic or something that you want to attend this year that you're going to make a point to be like, yes, I'm going to be here this day?
Well, I
Or
mean,
no?
my favorite thing every year is probably like the theme ride. So we all get dressed up for
Yes.
and go out. And then I host the panel, which I always love because like I don't know, I love asking questions and talking to amazing women. So it's kind
Yeah.
of different to be on this side of things this time around today.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
glad to have you here.
yeah. And then that does remind me another new thing that we're bringing in this year that I'm so excited about. We're going to do a fashion show, and
What?
yeah. So we've got some companies sending in some clothing items so that we can talk about what to wear while you're riding and maybe after you're riding, and bags to use, and just kind of have fun with some different companies.
Oh my god. I
That's
love
so
that. So
cool.
like fanny packs and everything too. Like this is my hip pack.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Such a good idea.
I'd
Yeah,
love
that
to
is so
see that. Are you
true.
guys Yeah, go ahead, Candace.
Just that like sometimes you like don't like I also occasionally if I know that I'm going to go out afterwards, like I don't necessarily want to be in like, some of the grimy shorts that I just rode in and stuff, or I want it to look cute-ish, like on the bike, off the bike, whatever.
Mhm.
So that is such a good idea.
Yeah, I would love to see video of that because I think it's just sounds super fun. Like a bunch of women doing mountain bike like clothing runway. Like that just sounds like super fun. What kind of clothing do you guys? What kind of brands are you guys having out there this year?
All right, I'm gonna try not to forget anybody, but so we've got Wild Rye, Cognitive MTB, Aerotech Designs. I think Caden is sending things. I know I'm forgetting, so I don't know. Go to check out the website at some point, and they will all be on there.
Oop,
Yeah.
hold on, going now, checking now.
What
See if
about
I can list
Moxie?
all
Because
of them.
isn't Moxie like a female?
Yep, Moxie will be there in
Okay.
the fashion show. Thank you. Yeah, I should have had that handy. It's not listed on the website yet because
Oh, okay. Moxie was gonna send us some stuff too to check out. I haven't tried their stuff yet, but I've seen Heidi a few times at different festivals and stuff. She's got some good stuff that the protective pads that can fit like under the clothes and stuff, which is really cool, like already sewn in. which
Yeah.
is super cool.
I know that's a pretty fun idea too.
Yeah. I also noticed on your website, you guys have a sustainability aspect to the festival. What is it that you guys do to give back? Is it recycling? Is it educating folks on sustainability? Like, could you talk a little bit about that aspect of it?
Yeah. So yeah, I care deeply about nature and Mother Earth, and happy Earth Day. Ha. And
Yes, that's right. It is Earth Day.
yeah. And so I was really conflicted about doing a festival and piling up like napkins and plates and silverware and just, you know what I mean? Like just community.
Yeah.
And so my goal is to just have as little as possible. So like a couple years ago, we did one of the things that everybody got was a nice stainless cup. And so I asked them to use that the entire weekend. Like if they didn't bring it to happy hour, they weren't getting any beer. Like
Cracking
Cracking that
the whip.
so yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to like do that more with being, you know, a nonprofit and getting some funds in. That way we can keep the ticket price low, but we can still, you know, like do right by the earth.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, there's a lot of like, I don't know, things we can still do better. You know, we have food trucks come in and, you know, the coffee place would give a discount when people brought their own mug because we asked them to. And, but like, you know, people are going to give styrofoam containers out. That's just what food trucks do. You know what I mean? Or like the paper
Yeah.
tray. So it's, you know, we can only do so much, but
Yeah.
if you do what we're doing. And yes, we do like collect, like we do have cans now sometimes for beer. So, and wine actually. There's some canned wine, but a really great alcohol sponsor. But yeah.
Canned
So
wine. Is it good? I've never had canned wine. I'm sure it is good if you're having it at your event, but send us some, Heather. Send us some recommendations for canned wine, and Candace and I will, like, from a
Yeah.
distance, participate.
Do a review.
I don't know if that's legal, but you know, I could. But yeah, it's
That's
actually
true.
a local winery. They have they're like the only one I think in the state that does beer, wine, and spirits, and
Yeah.
it's and 5 and 20, and they've been an amazing sponsor the last few years. So people are getting like free drinks for happy hour, and they're amazing. And then
That's pretty cool.
this year we're actually asking them to only do one happy hour because we want to have a happy AF hour where we just do like non-alcoholic options. So
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
That's really cool too. That's very important as well to include that in there.
Yeah. I do know there's also companies that do like food waste, like they will take your food, you know, like partially eaten food, and instead of you throwing away, I think they use it for composting, and the Sunset Summit had that this past year, and that's where I learned about it. I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was a thing, but I thought it was pretty great because there's so many people eating there, and it was a serve yourself type of thing, so that can sometimes cause more waste because people overserve.
yeah.
And so yeah, it was like they would take like your partially eaten plates of food and use it for composting. So
Yeah.
always something to kind of try and find for next year, you know.
Well, no, I love that. And someone, I think they just opened up here in Chautauqua County. So it's like, I'll reach out to them. Like, that's an awesome suggestion.
I think
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
so
remember what
cool.
it was, like eco food or something, eco bite maybe. I can't remember what it was called, but anyway, I loved it. So
Yeah, that's such a great idea. Because we do our own at the house. So I was like, I didn't even really pay
yeah,
attention to that. But now it's like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah,
Although it's like a bunch of hungry mountain bikers. They really do scarf it up pretty good.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
yeah. I think
How
they
many?
probably had more with breakfast where people were like just waking up and not really having, you know. So anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Mia.
No, no worries at all. How many vendors are you guys expecting here? Is there usually a really good turnout for vendors that show up for the fest?
Yeah, it's a pretty good turnout. We probably have maybe like 8 vendors. We try to get
That's
like,
pretty good.
you know, people who offer like I bought these really banging like old tire earrings last year that were really cool.
Yes.
And then we try to have at least like 3 vendors that are doing clothing because there's so much variety and style. So it's really cool to have many options.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like just the cute little like stickers and things that, you know, you want to like slap on something when you get home or on your car. So
What about bike? Do you have any bike companies coming out this year? I think you guys had Giant show up one year, right?
we had Kona one year. So
Oh, Kona. Okay.
we definitely just stick to the bike brands that the bike shop carries.
Nice.
But no, we haven't. We only had luck getting someone there one year, and it was great. And they were supposed to come back, and then they killed their program, so it didn't happen. So
Yeah, the industry is suffering a little bit right now.
yeah,
Hopefully we'll change that for next year.
Yeah, I thought that I read that Kona was rebranding or something like that recently.
Mhm.
They are. Okay, yeah.
A lot of people are just laying off. So many. I think Evil, I want to say it was Evil. They laid off 50% of their workforce in the last few months. If I'm wrong, someone correct me, but I think it was Evil. Hopefully we will get back on the up and up. The good thing is that there's just nothing but more women showing up on bikes, which is so freaking amazing. And I love that you're doing like an East Coast event. I think that's just so important and so cool. Everything that you offer is incredibly supportive to women. Do you have clinics that are like beginner clinics? Is it tech clinics? Tell us a little bit more about the clinics you offer at the fest.
yeah. Well, what's kind of neat is I'm seeing the progression in the participants because we really needed a lot of beginner clinics when we first started, and now it's moved into people want to learn how to jump and drop and do all kinds of things. So we do have a really nice variety.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
Um,
and one that's not skill based, but everyone is obsessed with and sells out every year is the nature ride.
yeah.
So I have a naturalist friend who comes in and just will go out on the trail and she'll say like, "Oh, this is this kind of fern, and if you do this with it, it'll keep the bugs away." Or like this plant is great when you hit poison ivy, and you know what I mean. Like it's so neat for people just love to see what they've got going on, and I've
Yeah.
done it times because there's no way I can remember everything that she tells me.
It really is a lot of information to take in, like when you think about it.
Yeah.
Um, Hold on. You know what though? I did tell you at the beginning I wasn't gonna have any like super deep questions, but I did write one down. We'll see. We'll see. You ready? What are some things you see in the mountain bike community that may need to be changed to address getting more women on bikes?
Mm.
I know
Well,
it's a loaded question.
I mean, so have you guys had Aja on before? Aja Jackson?
No, but I know Aja and she's freaking awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing. Um, so she's gonna be emceeing the fashion show, and
Oh, nice.
but anyway, so she had posted something on Instagram about like not finding that female camaraderie on the trail and things like that. And she was asking people like their experiences or how we can do better. And I just feel like I live in this weird bubble because we've this amazing female like community where we do cheer each other on and we do like care about each other. So I do think, I mean, it's kind of amazing. Like the people who are in my bubble, it's like as we keep expanding, it's like, we'll be out riding and just see a woman on the trails and we'll just be like, "Hey, what are you doing? You need to join us." You know what I mean? Like that outreach, I think, is what really can save people or keep them on bikes because like maybe they're not
Yeah.
having much fun with their husband. Like when I was going and when I first started riding, it was with my husband and his friends, and it was like this is okay. But so that getting other women, then it's like this is amazing. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think outreach.
That is true. That is a big deal. I have one of my good friends, she just started riding. Her husband's a long time mountain biker, and he's been trying to get her into it for like 3 years, and they go together. And I keep telling her to come riding with us because when she rides with him, she gets so frustrated because he tends to over explain things and she just keeps saying like, "Just let me ride," like and you're right. I've told her like, "Come ride with us. Like we don't care about any of that shit. We're just here to have a good time." Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Outreach is a good one.
And sometimes it's like therapy, you know what I mean? It's like the ride itself is like meditative and just rejuvenating. And then when you get like that break, you just stop and you're just like getting some water and then you're like, "Oh my God, I had a crappy day." And like, you just have this great, you get built back up and you get off your bike at the end of the ride and you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, we know that well. I think mountain biking is a cure for a lot of really down times. Or if you,
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah, saved me during COVID for sure. It was like, we can go outside and ride bikes. This is wonderful.
Or yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't illegal. So, um, yeah, it is kind of funny how we all tend to share that same, like, oh, I was riding with my husband, or I was riding with like just a group of dudes, and then you finally find like whether it's one or two other women to ride with, and you're like, "Ah, this is so much better." So, and it is just so bizarre because it's like you try to be, um, I don't know, I don't want to say like comparing yourself to men or something, but like I don't know why it feels so weird because, and now I ride with my husband, and I guess I don't feel that frustration that I had previously. I think maybe because at least like I'm a little bit better than what I was back in 2020, so maybe I just keep up and there's no frustration there. But yeah, I don't know. When you like learn with women, I don't know. It's great.
And I also think it's from my personal experience, I don't feel judged as much when I ride with women than sometimes when I do with my guy friends. And I have a close group of guy friends I ride with, so I don't feel like that anymore. But I think there's something to that. I don't know if either of you have experienced that, but for me, like when I rode with Candace and Alexis in Sedona, it was the first time the three of us were even riding together. And I
Mm-hmm.
just had a blast. Like at no point did I feel, oh shit, I gotta really make this line look good. Or, like I do sometimes when I'm riding with guys. And it's silly to even think that because half the time they don't even really care what you're doing. But have either of you experienced anything like that?
I think the experience that I've had that annoys me is like showing up somewhere. This happened when I was on my Bentonville trip last year. Showing up somewhere and kind of ready to ride, but kind of apprehensive. And I'm like, so how are the trails? And they try and like scare me. They're like, oh my God, it's terrible. And it's, you're going to slip out and you better go real slow. And like, they're scaring the crap out of me. And then
Right.
like, okay. And then I like ripped down it and I was like, wait, where was the scary part? You know what I mean? So it's like,
Were those people from Bentonville? Yeah, that
Oh,
sounds about right.
okay, good.
Yeah. I also think that like, yeah, because those men or group of people, whatever, probably don't see as many women as there are. I find like we have a very large group of women that bike out here. So I feel like when that's not present in their community, they're just like, oh, these ladies, like, they don't know what they're getting into and all this stuff. But yeah, like, don't over explain the trail. Like,
right.
tell me if there's a gap coming up at least. And then, like, then cool, I'll walk around it, whatever.
But
Like,
also, don't tell me about the gap like 2 miles before the gap, because then I only know about the gap. It's like,
That's right, because you don't know what to expect. Well, when is the gap coming? Like,
yeah,
you're gonna go real
yeah.
slow and real cautious.
yeah,
Oh my goodness. Um, how can people learn a little bit more about what you're doing and if they want to volunteer and participate and help you out and they're over there in the East Coast, how can people um learn and get in touch?
yeah. Well, and we're always looking for people to bring cool stuff to the event. Fun offerings. Like last year we had, and again this year we will have like a leave no trace clinics.
Yes.
So yeah, if you're listening and you have a really cool offering, please reach out. Instagram's good at Rooted MTB Fest. You could do hello@rootedmtbfest.com if you want to email. Um, yeah, that's kind of, I would say, the major easy ways to get a hold of us.
I will put all this information in the show notes as well and the YouTube and everything. So folks don't freak out if you didn't get that right away. It's all going to be written down for y'all. Was there something we missed that you wanted to talk about, Heather? I feel like we talked about, it's only been like 40 minutes, but I feel like we covered so much already.
I know. I took a few notes just to see if it's like, is there things that I want to touch on?
Yeah.
I feel like we really did cover things really well. But yeah, I can definitely say just that, like mountain biking has been such a blessing to my life. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't know either of you, you know what I mean, at
Yeah.
all. And I think back to like when I first started, I just feel like I was like a little peanut or something, but I was like 30 something. And but it's like I met a friend at it's called Jake's Rocks here. And they have a trail fest every September. And I remember going to a women's clinic, and there wasn't too many of us there, and it was just so exciting. Like I made my first friend that wasn't my bike shop owner's wife. Like she was my rider, you know. So it was like, ooh, I met someone totally new, and like that was like that became the beginning of Rooted, truly.
That's so amazing. That's so cool. We know you have to take off in a bit because you are a very busy woman and have things to do, but we wanted to do some quick fire questions at you.
Okay.
So Candace, I'm gonna let you start with yours and then I'll go through mine. You have a couple, right, Candace?
I have one, and it's not
okay.
it's not mountain bike related, but it's, do you like beaches or mountains?
Mountains.
Like, okay.
Okay, here we go. Tech or flow?
I like both.
No, you got to pick one.
Okay, flow, because any day that's easy.
Fair enough.
Fact.
Chamois or no chamois?
No chamois.
What?
Yeah, it's a controversial
every
one.
time someone says no chamois, I have no idea how your like ass is sitting on that saddle. I'm sorry.
It's the saddle. I keep telling you, it's the saddle. It's made all the difference for me. Mullet or 29er?
I'm actually 27.5 plus.
Ooh.
Samesies.
Yeah.
What? What bike are you on right now?
I have a Pivot Trail 429, but I put 27.5s on it.
Oh man. Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of short, and I don't know. It just feels good. I don't know.
That's amazing. We need to do a bike check of your bike because I haven't heard someone convert that yet. But that's really cool. And Pivot seems to always be the one brand that comes back to for shorter riders that a lot of shorter riders just love.
Yeah, the standover height.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the bikes that I can fit over. So when I was shopping, had my eye on that one as well.
You know what? I heard, I did a podcast with Jen Cates, and she told me this last week that the owner of Pivot, his wife is 5 foot. And so a lot of how he designs the bikes also takes inspiration from his wife, taking into consideration the shorter rider. And I thought that was really cool. Even though the dude's over 6 foot tall, like thinking of the women and the shorter folks out there, like that was just like, I'm like, okay, I need a Pivot. Like, okay, you've convinced me.
Well, because like even if you're 5 foot and you have long legs, then you're still kind of in a good realm. But like I'm just short all
Yeah.
over at 5 foot, so like my standover it's a struggle. So, but
Yeah,
the
that's
Pivot,
true.
I think I actually stood over yours, Heather, didn't I? Or like take it for like a quick pedal around.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe. So
Fine. So next time I need to change that to mullet 27.5 plus or 29. All right, last one. Favorite place to ride?
Oh, dang. That's so hard. Because I often get bored with places and then I need to go somewhere else.
Okay. All right. Well, favorite place to ride right now?
Okay. Well, I'm going to say right where Rooted happens, the trails at Loud, and they also connect to the trails at a state park called Long Point.
Ooh.
So when you get to ride that, it's really amazing.
All right. Okay, we're gonna have to go there, Candace. Put it on
Loud,
the calendar
yeah.
next
I
year.
even like the
We're gonna be
name.
there. Heather, you are amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with Candace and I. We had such a great time. And hopefully I'll meet you in person. I know you and Candace are friends and have ridden together, but hopefully next year.
Yeah, that would be great. All my travels is not like set in stone yet, so maybe I'll see you this year somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
We come to California. You're welcome. We have a place here you could stay. You can hang out. We'll show you the local trails. And then Bentonville, we're always crashing at Candace's. So, I mean, that's just a given.
As long as you protect me from mountain lions and bears, because that scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, no, we carry, my wife always carries a horn, a bear horn.
Uh-huh. Okay. I rode in Montana and I was so scared. The whole
Really?
time.
Yeah, I feel like Montana would be kind of scary. Also, like riding with a horn, what happens when you fall on that thing? Does it like go off and you're like freaking out?
That's a great question. I will, when we go riding this weekend, I'll see how she packs it in her thing and I'll report back because I have no
like,
idea.
what if you like fell on it? It was just like, bam, like,
I can't
Jesus
be
Christ.
tested because I fall all the time. So I don't usually get that stuff. Oops, sorry about that, you guys. Have a great night, Heather. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you again. And thank you, Candace, for being the co-host today. Loved it.
Yeah. I loved it too. It was great. Yeah, it was awesome to see you, Heather. So,
Have a great night, and we'll talk soon.
All right,
bye
bye.
guys.
Bye, ladies.